Hey Amber Miners, welcome back to the Amber Mine. 1997's The Lost World of Jurassic Park brought us so many classic game additions to our beloved franchise. The likes of Trespasser and the Lost World games specifically come to mind. However, one game specifically holds a special place in our hearts. The Lost World for the PlayStation 1. This game brought us the ability to actually play as a dinosaur instead of just being a human character. It had a handful of playable characters for that matter. The tiny but deadly Compsognathus, the human hunter, the ferocious Velociraptor, the human prey, which is based on Sarah Harding, as well as the mighty Tyrannosaurus. We have a lot more that we would like to go into with this game, but as for today, we're going to start off with all the dinosaurs of the Lost World PlayStation 1. Compsognathus longipus. Compsognathus is the first playable character in the game. It uses its leaping and evading movement to escape some of the larger predators. The character can suffer from high falling damage that would be contradictory to a small animal's ability to take higher falls. It is also able to swim and evade water predators. Its speed and jumping is what helps it survive the perils of the Lost World. Allosaurus fragilis. The Allosaurus were shown as living in caves near the human camp in large numbers, and would attack the player's Tyrannosaurus Rex moving through the area. They bear a similar orange-brown stripe pattern to the later appearance in Operation Genesis. Barasuchus pacheshwa. Barasuchus only appeared in one game, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, as an enemy to the Compy in an underwater cavern. The coloration is a murky green with a faded yellow underbelly. It also appears to have spikes on its back. In the game, it is misspelled as Barasuchus. There has never been a creature reported named Barasuchus. It is also mentioned in the intro screen of the human hunter level, and it says, "Be on careful lookout for Baryonyx, Barasuchus, and Dimetrodon." Baryonyx walkeri. The Baryonyx lived in Habitat B of Isla Sorna, together with Styracosaurus and Dimorphodon. Here, the creature is depicted as territorial and very much aggressive, living in coastal caves somewhere along the island that's encountered in the human hunter level. Brachiosaurus bronchi. A herd of Brachiosaurus appear on the Compsognathus level in the Lost World Jurassic Park on PlayStation, where the Compsognathus has to avoid defeat. Strangely, the Brachiosaurus have their heads down really low, although they may be keeping a low profile as there is a Carnotaurus nearby. Carnotaurus sastrae. In the console adaptation of The Lost World Jurassic Park, Carnotaurus appears only in the Compsognathus level, Sleeping Titan, where it cannot be killed. The player must maneuver over the Carnotaurus in order to get past it, because directly running from the Carnotaurus will result in the player-controlled Compsognathus to be devoured by the giant dinosaur. Deinonychus antrahopus. Deinonychus is an enemy on various levels. It bears a resemblance to the Velociraptor that appeared in the game as well, only different in colors. Oddly, it is smaller than the Velociraptor instead of being bigger as in real life. In the game, they are also called Deinonychus, likely to differentiate them from the Velociraptor. They are pale brown and have yellow spots in game, but in the game's strategy guidebook, they reused the Velociraptor's color scheme. Dilophosaurus weitherili. The Dilophosaurus only showed up as a wildlife ambience. Dimetrodon limbatus. Dimetrodon is briefly mentioned in the intro of the human hunter of the Lost World Jurassic Park. Be on careful lookout for Baryonyx, Barasuchus, and Dimetrodon. Later, Dimetrodon is said to be prey for Velociraptors in the intro of the Raptor level. Dimetrodon was also going to make an appearance in the InGen complex of the human hunter level. However, it was replaced by Deinonychus according to the Raptor gallery. Dimetrodon does appear in the T-Rex intro. The Morphodon Micronix. The Morphodon lived in Habitat B of Allosaurus together with Styracosaurus and Baryonyx. The Morphodon can be easily killed. Interestingly, in the Sega Saturn port, it has translucent wings. Euplocephalus tutus. Euplocephalus appears as the final boss in a series of the Velociraptor levels. The Euplocephalus has 3 attacks: a charging attack, a lunging gore, and a tail swipe. In addition to jumping onto the Euplocephalus, it will cause you damage due to its horns on the back. To defeat the Euplocephalus, you need to pounce on its head and then lift the animal onto its side, where you can then attack the dinosaur's belly. Giganotosaurus carolini. Giganotosaurus was featured in the Raptors gallery on the PSX Saturn game, The Lost World Jurassic Park. Apparently, it was cut from the game in favor for Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Allosaurus. Leptoceratops gracilis. Leptoceratops appears in The Lost World Jurassic Park when the player plays as the Compsognathus. It can be found in the first 2 levels, High Ridge and Rainforest, where it guards the DNA. Due to its larger size, compared to the player, it can do a large amount of damage to the player, although successfully killing it does reward you with a lot of health. The main attack of the Leptoceratops is a bucking goring motion, making head-on attacks difficult, although an attack from behind can do a large amount of damage. Mollysaurus SP. Mollysaurus only appeared in this game, where its name was listed as one of the victims of Allosaurus Velociraptor populations during the intro to the latter's campaign, with only 1 individual listed as being killed. It is also listed on this display as belonging to the family Oviraptoridae. The dinosaur's name is likely an Easter egg to a family member or pet of one of the developers of the Lost World video game. Orodromeus maculae. It lives at the edges of Allosaurus along with Euplocephalus and Compsognathus. Together they form an ecological system called Habitat A. Orodromeus is an enemy in the Compsognathus level and the High Ridge area. The coloration is a reddish brown. Pachycephalosaurus wyomingensis. Pachycephalosaurus is encountered in the Human Hunter and Velociraptor levels. The Pachycephalosaurus is bigger than the ones we've seen in film, furthermore suggesting that they were not fully grown in the film. Like in the arcade game, they can only be damaged if hit, shot in the body. Parasaurolophus warkiri. Parasaurolophus was originally going to appear in the Lost World Jurassic Park console game, but was cut. Apparently, the files for Parasaurolophus were lost. The Prey gallery jokingly stated that it was eaten by a vicious pack of 3D raptors before it can make it safely into the game. Pteranodon sturmbergi. The Geosturmbergia only showed up as a wildlife ambience. Rhamphorhynchus muensteri. The Rhamphorhynchus only showed up as a wildlife ambience and was mentioned as prey for Barasuchus and Deinonychus. Styracosaurus briche. Styracosaurus is an enemy in the game. It appears in compy levels mostly in the forests, except in the Brachiosaurus Pass, and around the open field. The coloration was a bright yellow with black patterns all over its body, according to the concept art, but the in-game model has a more golden yellow color with a tan underbelly. Stegosaurus stenops. Stegosaurus is an enemy. It is encountered in the Tyrannosaurus level. Triceratops uridus. The player must rescue a Triceratops from being eaten by 2 Velociraptors. If the player succeeds, they will go on to the next chapter. If they fail, the players must fend off more raptors. Players can also see a Triceratops collapsing to its death when a hunter tells the player, "They wiped us out!"
Okay, we've got you on our scope. Just keep moving.
Where are they?
It's doing fine. Look, you've only got 30 meters to go.
I can hear them behind me!
Don't panic. I'm having trouble picking up.
Where are they?
Help right now.
Velociraptor. The Velociraptor is featured as a playable character. They appear as they do in novels. The information screen of this level shows that these raptors are 2 meters long and have around the same height as other depictions. The raptor must escape an abandoned engine facility into a forest where a forest fire rages while facing numerous dinosaurs and hunters. Tyrannosaurus Rex. As the T-Rex players will have to master various attack maneuvers to defend themselves against ambush attacks from Velociraptors, hunters, and one-on-one battles with other larger beasts. The gameplay is a bit more brutish than the other dinosaurs, and sometimes less control is easily available. Also, a final boss, the Tyrannosaurus, is a bit more difficult to control because of its mass. I hope you enjoyed our initial look into this underrated classic. We have a lot more to dive into this game in the future, as we have just barely scratched the surface. Next year's Lost World Month, we're going to do some more deep diving into this fossil. However, we do have one more thing to cover this year. See you tomorrow as we do a deep dive into one of this game's most controversial species. Tomorrow on Jurassic Myths, we're going to cover what species exactly is the Barasuchus.
Remember, if you liked our content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell to be notified of any of our future uploads. This has been Thy. I'll see you all next time down in the Ambermine.
this on? Can you hear me? It's on. Hello. If you can hear me, congratulations. Way to go. Way to go. You made it through. You spent all that time, and now you're done. You did it. That's quite an achievement. My gosh, you looked a 20-foot carnivore right in the eye, and you've lived to tell about it. Well, you are something. Thank you for sticking with it, for not giving up. That is really something. Now you know what you should do? Turn the thing off, for heaven's sakes, and go outside. You know, breathe the air, take a walk, call a member of the opposite sex. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you have a whole life out there. Get the stink blown off you. Just go, really. Turn off. You. I mean, really. What was that? Hello. Okay, I go.